Hello to my wonderful subscribers. Thank you for coming back to watch another of my videos. Um, the UK is quite cold at the moment. It's really starting to feel like we're pushing in towards December and soon we'll be properly in winter weather. This has been a really weird week for me because I was having a really lovely week, and then on Thursday night, just out of the blue, I got the news that one of my very old friends who I'd known since school had passed away, and um, yeah, so it really took a bit of a turn into just terrible sadness, to be honest. So I got quite a joyous bunch of perfumes, and then um, on the Friday, I just needed something comforting. So yeah, I'm not the most cheerful I've ever been, to be honest, but this is kind of like quite a nice therapy for me to do this kind of thing. So I wasn't going to skip the video because I do really like making these. I really like talking to you guys. But yeah, it's not been the best week, to be honest. So, but I will start with the joyous ones because um, it's good to be as positive as possible. So I wore something that I haven't worn for ages, and because this is a perfume that for me is it can be a bit headache inducing in warm weather. I think this one is just too strong for me in warm weather. Um, and not because it's a beast, but I find maybe that there's something about a Burberry perfumes. So this is, I'll have to put it on an angle so you can actually see it. This is Burberry Brit, and this is make sure that's in focus, this is the EDP. Very important. So the EDP, um, it's actually the EDT, to be honest. I've had that one. It's very similar, but it's a bit more woody. It's got more lime in it. It's a bit lighter. But the deep dry down of it just kind of smells like the EDP. So it wasn't one that I particularly felt I needed to keep. I mean, to be honest with you, it might have been that if I had decided to keep it, I would have been able to wear that in warmer weather. But I have Pear perfumes that I can wear in warm weather, so it wasn't too much of a big deal to get rid of that one. This one though, oh my goodness, I love this in cold weather. I had completely forgotten. It is one of those perfumes, and I do have a few of these actually, and they do tend to be the older perfumes, where when I first spray it, I'm like, oh, I think maybe this might give me a headache. I'm not sure if I love it. Um, and then as soon as it kind of dries down a little bit, I absolutely love it. I just think it's so pretty. And the notes are almond, lime, and pear. The middle notes are candied almond, sugar, and peony. Base notes are vanilla, tonka bean, amber, and mahogany. On the actual Burberry website, they describe this as a candied floral fragrance, sexual. They don't say it's sexual, although I think it might be. Um, sensual and addictive, crisp, icy pear, sugared almond, and intense vanilla. And that's a really good description of it. It really is a delicious pear, a lovely tart lime, and then you get this beautiful, sweet, creamy almond and vanilla. It's absolutely delicious. You can definitely sense the tonka in here, which for me I think is probably what I love so much about this, is that it's not just straight up vanilla. It's got a beautiful tonka that mixes and just makes it like so wearable. And I genuinely, um, it does. When I was wearing it, it did definitely remind me um, of Donna Aqua a little bit. They don't smell exactly the same. They don't have the same florals because this is like peony, which I don't normally like. And I think probably when I first spray it, that's probably what bothers me. But to be honest, I don't really get a floral sense in this perfume particularly. But you definitely get the frangipani and rose and hawthorn, I think it is, in the Donna Aqua. But they have a very, very similar sweet sugared almond scent and a juicy pear with that kind of delicious, rich, tonkery dry down. So this really feels like a relative of Donna Aqua. And I think if you can't get hold of that one and you want a pear and almond perfume, 100%, this is what I would recommend. I do think you need to give it a minute once you've sprayed it, but I think it's beautiful. It lasts on me for ages, this perfume, and this is the newer version. I think the older version has like a slightly different bottle, but this I really enjoyed wearing it. I have a little rollerball that I take with me to work, so I spray this on in the morning, and then my rollerball comes to work with me, so I can just give little like pulse point top ups. Um, but again, I don't really need to do that until I leave work, so like 8 hours easily, I can still smell this on me. It's so tasty. I really, really enjoy it. I highly recommend it. I think it's absolutely scrumptious. So that's Burberry Brit, the EDP. I'm going to push that right into the corner for now, so that I've got room for all of these. So let's do, what have we got next? Okay, let's do this one. This is such a weird smell because, I mean, I had this in my Halloween perfumes video because it's kind of half really happy and half like slightly melancholy, this scent. It's called Colour Feeling Orange. This is from Brocard. I'm not entirely sure if you can still get hold of this anymore, to be honest. I got this from Bloom Perfumery in London. You might be able to get this from their website or the shop in Soho. I just went to the shop to buy it because I think they're about, I think they were 30, yeah, I think it was £30. 30 or 35, something like that, for the 100 ml bottle. And I think you can get samples as well online. Um, I don't, I mean, they're just expensive to get them posted, so if you can get there. But anyway, I'm not entirely sure they've still got them in stock. This, though, I suggested this one in my Halloween video for a Day of the Dead celebration outfit, you know? So that's because this is orange, mango, marigold. So Day of the Dead, you often see the beautiful bright orange flowers, the lovely kind of marigolds everywhere. And then I said in that one, I said ground cherry. I wasn't sure what it was, but actually, in I'm not sure if this is even right. It's just what my mum calls it. We call them phyllosis over here, like these really little kind of tart berries that tend to be used on food for decoration. But me and my mum just like eating them. We kind of like the kind of sour, sweet tang of them. But yeah, so apparently those are called ground cherry elsewhere. But it also has chili pepper, saffron, iris, citrus, amber, sandalwood, cedar, patchouli, and rose. So all of those, so the marigold, the orange, the chili pepper, the mango, the citron, those are all quite cheery, bright, pretty, happy smells. But then you've got this slightly powdery sandalwood and an earthy patchouli. Um, and then you've got quite a relatively strong amber in here, I'd say. So I really like wearing this one, but it's an interesting one because it is, like I said, like half happy, half not. But it's kind of earthy and pretty, and I actually genuinely think it's quite an interesting perfume. I've not really smelt many perfumes with orange in that are quite as kind of interesting as Colour Feeling Orange. So yeah, that's an interesting Brocard perfume. I do actually also have Colour Feeling Red. That one is a cherry perfume. But the dry down of it smells really similar to this one. So at the moment it's in my list to get rid of. But yeah, I do really like that one as well. I wore it last Christmas and then decided to buy a bottle, but then after wearing it again, I was like, oh, it is quite similar to orange, so don't know if I need them both. But yeah, that was a nice day though because it's also quite fresh. I don't know, it's like a really interesting one. Um, okay. I wore this one quite a lot because I just got obsessed with it again, wearing it in the night. And to be honest, I don't always talk about it when I wear this anyway because I often do wear this to bed. Um, and I don't mention it because I'd be talking about it every week. Um, this is the spray version, but I'm putting this one up because I did actually wear it during the day this week. This is Skin Musk from Parfums de Coeur. And yeah, so like I said, sometimes if I'm going to be like at home, so if I'm working from home or something, if I've worn the Skin Musk oil, which is by far the superior product, as I always say, then sometimes I wake up and I just think, oh God, I can still smell it. I love it. I just want to smell like this, like for the rest of the day or for the rest of the morning or something. So, and that happened this week. Whereas I'd put it onto bed, I went to bed, I could still smell it on my sheets and on me when I woke up in the morning, and I thought, right, this is going to be my scent for the morning. And so I just put more of the oil on, and then I sprayed this over the top. So the oil, they only give you sandalwood, vanilla, and floral notes as a list here. I'm pretty sure there's ylang ylang. I'm absolutely sure there's rose in this. It's got a kind of a sugary sweet vanilla, and a very smooth sandalwood, and then a beautiful golden musk. Like, it's so warm, it's soapy without being sharp, which is my favourite kind of soapy scent, like a bar soap rather than a shampoo. So I absolutely love this. I do genuinely think that the oil is more vanillic, it's deeper. I mean, it is thicker, but it smells heavier. It smells more musky, um, and I think it's just sexier. I think it smells more like skin. I think the cologne spray is first, it's incredibly light. It smells more sugary, and it smells transparent, and it's more rosy. I think my husband said that this one smells like this, the cologne spray, I mean, it smells like Turkish Delight. And ever since he said that, I'm like, yes, okay, yeah, it does smell like Turkish Delight. Not so much the oil, but the spray definitely does. And so I've been really enjoying putting the spray on as well. So yeah, I wore it this week because it's just so delicious. Okay, what else have we got here? All right. Now this is still in its box, so you will be able to guess from that this is not one I plan to keep, because I'm just like, eh. Um, you know what? I think I'm going to move that colour feeling down to be with this one, because I think I'll put something smaller up there because it's a heavy boy. So let's move that one along there. Try not to blind you. They're all reflecting like crazy today. So lovely. So this is Eyfel W73. It still smells quite nice from the bottle. This is their dupe of Dolce Garden. There you go. And I wanted to try this one just because I know I still have a sample of Dolce Garden actually. I used to have a bottle. I got rid of it. I couldn't get on with it. I don't get on with Dolce & Gabbana perfumes really. I've never found one that I actually enjoy wearing. Even if I like them on like paper, I just don't like wearing them. I think there's something in the DNA of that house that I just can't get on with. So, but because my husband quite liked this when we were sniffing it, and there are elements of it that I enjoy, and it's quite an unusual perfume, Dolce Garden, I thought, right, I'm just going to try this dupe because it was like less than £10 from makeup.uk. And I thought I might as well try it, because also I have this channel, right? So it's nice to be able to tell you if I can get a cheaper version of something, especially when, like Dolce Garden, it's been discontinued and it's really hard to find. So this one I gave an actual full wear test to this time, and definitely at first it does smell like Dolce Garden, and unfortunately for me, it also has the things about Dolce Garden, like the sugary flowers on top of like a yogurty smell. That's what I get from Dolce Garden. Way too much. I think it's neroli, or orange blossom, with a very kind of sugary, kind of powdery coconutty yogurt smell. Yeah, it's like a coconut yogurt with powdered sugar on top and a ton of white florals. Um, but on my skin, which I didn't really get on the paper, so this might be a skin chemistry thing. This one, when I actually gave it a proper wear test, it really smelled a bit plasticky on me. Had this funny tone to it that I just thought smelled like plastic. And like I said, I didn't get that on paper, and I didn't really notice it when I just tested it like on my hand. But when I actually put it on my neck and my wrists and everything as well, it didn't sit right. It wasn't quite right on me. So I will be passing this one on, just because I just can't really get on with this. Which is, yeah, I mean, I think it's a relatively decent dupe in a way that means that I was hoping it wouldn't be as kind of screechy and weird to me as Dolce Garden was, but it is. It definitely smells quite like it. So if you are looking for Dolce Garden, highly recommend trying this out. Um, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure whether it's like a quality thing or what, but yeah, I'm not mad for it. But okay, yeah, it is neroli and magnolia. That explains so many things. So top notes, this is of this one, and I think these are either identical or very similar to Dolce Garden notes. So magnolia, neroli, and tangerine in the top, coconut, frangipani, and ylang ylang in the mid, and then vanilla absolute, almond milk, and sandalwood in the base. So yeah, sadly, I just can't get on with it. So that's my last attempt at any kind of Dolce Garden style smell. I think that's quite enough. So then let's see. I don't have the notes for this, so I don't give you any notes. I also wore, I think this was last weekend. I was just on a little baby powder kick. I was probably using some baby oil and just wanted to kind of continue the smell on because I do think, to be honest, that Demeter baby powder, although it does have a powdery texture and feel to it, because it's quite strong and sweet, I think it does smell almost a little bit more like baby oil than baby powder. It's very sweet, it's slightly floral, it's sugary, it's just, I mean, if you know what Johnson's baby oil smells like, that's what this smells like, but with the texture and feel of the powder. I think it's amazing. It's quite strong, this one. It's probably, with the exception of the one I hated from Demeter, which was Christmas in New York, another powdery one. Um, this one, I think, is the strongest Demeter that I own. I think, although the blueberry one actually lasts on my skin and clothes for a really long time, this one is stronger. Like I notice it more. So I've always quite liked this one ever since I first smelt it. I think it's really yummy. And I wore it, I think, for the whole day. Maybe on Saturday, can't remember. But yeah, I just think it's lovely. If you like that kind of, this is my kind of clean girl smell, you know? This is just straight up smelling like one of the body products that I use, but not smelling like a lotion or a conditioner or a shampoo. You know, I like a bar soap or clean out of the tumble dryer laundry or baby powder style smells. Okay, what do we got next? I just couldn't resist, had to do it. Cold weather, needed something sweet and comforting. So I went for American Cream by Lush, which is just a splendid, fabulous, delicious perfume. Lovely colour. Um, this is one that, I mean, let me just have a look on the back. I have been told by someone that I get things about Lush wrong, but I'm not sure whether that's just because whoever the person is who keeps commenting on my stuff smells things totally different from me, because half the time I'm just reading from the ingredients list. But so this has lavender, it has sage, it has vanilla absolute, it has coumarin. There's a ton of coumarin in here, which is kind of like a kind of tonkery smell. This also has, of course, as nearly every Lush thing does, geraniol, which is kind of rose. There's like an irisy compound in here as well. So I really do think it's like, oh, it's like candied flowers on white icing. I say it every time. I think that's what it smells like. I don't think it in any way, shape, or form smells like a strawberry milkshake, which is the way that Lush describe it and the way that it's described on Fragrantica. On the Fragrantica notes, it says that there's honey and strawberry in here, but um, obviously, when Lush has a thing that says perfume at the top of the ingredients, those are probably not natural compounds. Those are probably the things that are giving the scent that, you know, they're describing. So it might have honey, it might have cream or ice cream or strawberries or any of that kind of stuff in that perfume. But I just don't, have never, this is way too chalky for me to think it smells anything like a strawberry milkshake. I don't think it smells massively fruity, but I do think it's super sugary and slightly herbal and nice and floral, but it's just so girly and sweet. It does smell a little bit like a Lush shop, but without that kind of baking soda sharpness from the bath bombs, you know? It's definitely an acquired taste because it does smell lushy and it does smell quite natural in many ways, but it's also got this almost bubblegummy, sugary sweetness going on. Um, an absolute joy to wear, a joy to wear. And the more it dries down, the more it just turns into that beautiful white icing, sweet scent on the skin. It's just so delicious. So I wore two Lushes this week. Um, I told you last week I'd fallen in love with this, and I have fallen in love with this. I couldn't wait to wear it again. Oh, so Lord of Misrule, a much darker liquid, as you can see, absolutely gorgeous. So notes on here, I know that they list it's definitely got a lot of vanilla. It's probably vanilla absolute, I'd say, because it's so strong in the vanilla. It's got dark Sumatran. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that very wrong. Patchouli. Um, it's got black pepper oil and vanilla absolute. It's also got anise, and it's got, of course, coumarin always, and geraniol always. Bentonate. So it's got all these delicious warm things, and the patchouli in this. Interestingly, I wore three things this week that have quite an interesting patchouli, and there are similarities with the kind of patchouli that they are. So, in this one, like I said, there's kind of a sort of herby green, earthy patchouli in this, that has a slight kind of powdery vibe to it. In this one, I get a very herbal and earthy green patchouli in here, but it's so balanced out by how beautiful, creamy, and sweet that vanilla is, and how warm that black pepper is. But it almost smells minty to me, the patchouli in here. Yeah, I definitely get like a herbs and mint vibe from this. I do wonder if you'd given this to me, whether I even would have guessed that it was patchouli, and I'm not sure whether that's slagging myself off for having a terrible nose or what, but I think there's just this is just such an interesting interpretation of a patchouli perfume compared to the way that I normally smell patchouli, which tends to be like fruit choulis or in like really vintagey perfumes, you know, with oak moss and all that kind of stuff. Um, Whereas this is like absolutely such an incredible blend of just it's just amazing. It's just amazing. I don't know if I can bring myself to say it, but I think it might actually be the best perfume that Lush do. I think it might be the best scent, apart from Twilight and Sleepy. Although, to be honest, I find that one really hard to actually wear as a perfume, but in terms of the smell, I'm obsessed and I love it. And that's my favourite for bath and for my bed. But I think perfume wise, I think Lord of Misrule has really turned my head. But we'll see if I feel the same about it in like a year's time. So the other thing I wore that has that same kind of earthy patchouli in, that has this one also to me has a bit of a minty tone when it dries down, is Casmir by Chopard. So this is the one that I got a while ago, and when I reviewed it in my what's it called? In my haul. Oh my goodness, my brain. In my haul. I I reviewed it in my haul. Um I did say it's really weird, and it is kind of weird, but I really think it's beautiful. And I got it in hot weather, and thankfully, I am now trying it out in cold weather because I just knew this was not one that was really going to be quite right um, in the warm weather. It smells so much like um, Ylang in Gold, like what I should say, genuinely, is that Ylang in Gold smells like Casmir because this is far older than Ylang in Gold. That perfume is so expensive. And honestly, and actually, Ylang in Gold, when it dries down, it's a bit sharper than this and not as sweet, not as creamy. So it goes through a slightly different phase, but when you first spray it, and actually in the deep dry down, it smells so much like Casmir. But Casmir's like £15 for a 30 ml bottle, whereas your Ylang in Gold is like £150 for a bottle. So um, I let me read you the notes. I've been going on because I'm quite excited to have this for a number of reasons. So, top notes: peach, coconut, mango, bergamot, and fruit. Middle notes: geranium, jasmine, floral notes, and lily of the valley. Base notes: vanilla, amber, sandalwood, musk, patchouli, and woodsy notes. So, this has a super kind of powdery, vintage smelling sandalwood and amber vibe in the base. It's got quite a vintagey patchouli, but it's like I said, it almost starts to come across kind of minty to me in the same way as the Lord of Misrule one does. The peach and mango combination comes across kind of almost apricotty to me, And then it has a really nice vanilla in this, like a really creamy custardy vanilla. I don't think vanilla is like the strongest thing here. I think it's kind of very equal with the fruits and flowers. Now, this says floral notes, geranium, jasmine, and lily of the valley. There is definitely ylang ylang in here. You know, I can smell it. I'll talk about something else that I tested that's a ylang perfume in a second, but it's definitely ylang ylang. And ylang ylang is sometimes like kind of banana-y, and I sort of realizing it's also kind of plasticky a lot of the time. Yeah, it's got this kind of strange plastic scent in it, which is exactly the same in Ylang and Gold, and it's exactly the same in Far Away by Avon. And this does smell also quite a lot like Far Away from Avon. Now, Far Away is the most vanillic and kind of the creamiest, girliest, prettiest, easiest, most approachable in a way of the three. So, um, but that one I think might have that kind of tar thing going on, that kind of Veramos fixant scent that a lot of the, well, all of the modern Avon perfumes that I've smelt have that in. I've tested loads of them. So um, I'm hoping that I get along better with a vintage bottle of Far Away because I absolutely was obsessed with that and now I can't wear it because of that smell. But this is very, very similar. It's not identical. This is Casmir and Ylang in Gold are way closer than Casmir and Far Away are. But Far Away is also like peach, coconut, Ylang Ylang, and a shed loads of vanilla, but it doesn't have the patchouli, so it doesn't have quite the same powderiness. But it's also got that kind of plasticky ylang in it, which some people love, some people hate. I just really dig it. So yeah, I really enjoyed wearing this. It wasn't like too strong for me in this cold weather. I think it's really pretty. Um, it's quite comforting, but again, it's not like the happiest of scents. And I think again, it's because it's got that same kind of patchouli, sandalwood, powdery, earthy dry down. Although this has obviously got the vanilla to balance that out. But yeah, it's a cool perfume. What can I say? So, and then the last one I actually properly wore from my own collection. This was on my sad day. So this was on Friday, and I was just thinking about it. And when I was getting dressed, I was thinking, well, I mean, I took the day off from work, and I just thought, I don't want to wear anything that reminds me of that day. I don't really want to wear anything that I'm gonna kind of link up with something that makes me very sad. Um, but I also don't want to wear something that I wear all the time that's like a comfort perfume to me because again, I don't want to make that connection. So what I went for was Nivea. This is the Nivea Creme perfume. And the reason I went for this is because this is just sort of what I smell like before I put perfume on because I use a lot of the blue Nivea, as I call it. So I use Nivea every day, twice a day. It's my moisturizer that I love, and it's just a scent that's almost kind of part of my skin now. So it's not something that necessarily feels like I've put a perfume on, if you see what I mean. It's just kind of a stronger version of that scent. Although this, the magic of Nivea perfume is that although like I don't like lotiony perfumes, and obviously this is supposed to be smelling like a lotion. I'm gonna have to try and get it so you can actually see the Nivea. There you go. Um, this one, interestingly, it does have the scent of Nivea creme. It's spelled creme, Nivea creme. Um, but it doesn't have that texture of a lotion. Nivea Sun, the perfume for that definitely does retain that lotiony texture and kind of smell. It feels like the smell of a lotion. This one is powdery instead. So the notes in Nivea perfume are lavender, bergamot, mandarin orange. Middle notes are freesia, lily of the valley, ylang ylang, and rose. Base notes are powdery notes and sandalwood. So it's almost like if you put the scent of Nivea into a baby powder, it's got that kind of smell to it, which I really, really love. It's just like, it's kind of like a comfort perfume without feeling like you're wearing a perfume, this one to me. Um, and because I think baby powder is kind of a little bit more obvious than this one because it's so much sweeter. Nivea has the level of sweetness you get in the actual cream. So I think Yeah, that one worked for me. I'm not kind of looking at it and thinking I can never wear it again because, again, it just kind of just smells like me. It's like I wasn't wearing perfume, but I smelt nice because I did actually have perfume on. So, okay, and then there's some other things that I tried actually last week and then completely forgot to talk to you about. So, I specifically went into the Body Shop to try their two limited editions for Christmas. They've got two, sadly, this year, not perfumes. Last year they had eau de toilettes, and I tried both of them. I've still got the wild pine one, which I'll probably break out this Christmas. Which has got like peppermint. It smells like an outdoor Christmas crisp yumminess. So this year they're body spray, so I was already a bit disappointed, and I was like, I'm not going to blind buy these because I already find most Body Shop perfumes to be exceptionally light and they don't last very long at all. And so the body sprays, even, I mean, they're gone in a flash. So they didn't have, sadly, the pears and share, I should say. But I did have a sniff of the body lotion and the body products to get an idea of what that smells like. Because the notes they list for that are pear, sloe berries, and peony. So that one, it's okay. The thing is, like, I've got quite a few pear perfumes, and some of them are so delicious that one, it smells like, how can I say this without sounding like an a-hole? It just smells like a Body Shop perfume. I mean, the Body Shop do have a little bit of a DNA, I'd say, and that is very much a Body Shop pear perfume. It's totally pretty, but it was nothing that I felt like I needed or wanted even really. So it's fresh. It's got a kind of medium sweetness. It's not massively floral. I think the sloe berries is the most interesting part of it. But again, it's so, even from the body lotion's probably stronger than the actual perfumes, to be honest, because they are body sprays. But, they're all right. They're okay. And on the plus side, vegan, which is very good. So the other one is cherries and cheer. And that one is cherry, almond milk, and vanilla. Um, I just wasn't very excited by this one, to be honest. I thought the note sounded really good, but then I thought the cherry smelt a little bit like it wasn't. I don't think it was really cough sweets, but it did smell like cherry sweets, but like the hard candies, like cherry hard candy. Um, I can't even remember what those were called. We used to get them in little tubes in the UK. These little kind of sugary, hard cherry candies that were really nice. So it smells a bit like that. You get a tiny bit of like the creaminess from the vanilla and almond when it dries down, but it's unbelievably light, almost completely invisible. Um, and it's just instantly a skin scent, and then it goes away pretty quickly. When it dried down a bit though, it was quite sugary, so it was okay. But again, I mean, I've got loads of cherry perfumes as well, and if I want to wear something that has like a kind of candy cherry, I'll just wear one of my Lolita Lempicka cherry perfumes because they all have that kind of either like a deep candy or like a Haribo candy kind of vibe to them. So I wasn't mad for it. The other one I tried on my skin was full Ylang Ylang. So this is one of the Body Shop's newer perfumes that's really much more expensive. So I think they're about 40 something pounds for a bottle. They have a few. I've smelt in store. I sniffed the iris one and I was like, it's okay. I think I sniffed a rose one, and that was like, meh. I can't entirely remember what the other what the other ones are. I think there's four. But the one that I wanted to actually try on my skin was the full Ylang. And the notes that they give you for this are Madagascar Ylang Ylang, vanilla, and black pepper. It definitely smells like Ylang Ylang. It has that kind of tropical, ever so slightly plasticky, ever so slightly banana-y, classic, perfumey Ylang Ylang scent. It's it had a strange tone to it, and I think it's the black pepper. I think it's also very possible that they have something in there that is like some kind of wood, like a cedar wood or something, that I wasn't particularly fond of. But I did think at first I thought, oh, they've got that Veramos thing in here as well because it's got that weird burnt, rubbery, burnt wood smell. but that isn't what stayed on my skin. So that's, and considering that's a fixant, that's always the thing that stays on my skin. So that's not what it was. It's not like that, whatever that chemical is. So I think it's probably the black pepper, possibly some kind of wood. That didn't kind of stay though, so I think it got nicer as it dried down. I think it was sweet, but it wasn't like sugary crazy sweet. It was quite vanillic in a nice way. On Fragrantica, it's compared to Ylang in Gold, and I don't think it smells like Ylang in Gold really, outside of the fact that it does have a similar Ylang. The rest of the perfume doesn't really smell like Ylang in Gold, but it definitely, definitely reminded me of the Mont Blanc signature Absolu. Absolu is one that was full of that Veramos smell. I mean, it was just massively overpowering. I hated it. But when I first smelt it, it was a beautifully sweet. Mont Blanc's definitely sweeter than full Ylang. Um, but it was a very sweet Ylang. But there's tuberose in that one as well that gives it a slightly more bubblegummy vibe. And yeah, I did quite like that when I first sprayed it, but I thought, oh, this might become cloying very quickly because it's really very sweet. And I did wonder if the full Ylang would be a little bit overpowering because it was actually quite strong. But I actually think it was quite a nice level of sweetness, and I could smell it on me for hours, like hours and hours. Um, at first, I was like, it's okay, I'm not, it's not amazing. And then after about 2 hours, I thought, oh, this is actually a really pretty perfume. I'd happily recommend it. I think it's, if you like that kind of slightly weird, banana-y, plasticky, creamy ylang, then I think you might like it. And I think it's probably worth investing in, especially if they have like a good deal on it at some point. But honestly, I could still smell it on my arm after 9 hours. So there was me thinking, the Body Shop, charging £40 for a perfume seems a bit steep. But actually, I do think that the Ylang one is quite good quality. So yeah, and you never know, I might try it again if I'm fancying something Ylangy. But for now, I've got a couple of Ylang perfumes that are keeping me very happy. And yeah, I think that's it for this week, guys. So tell me what you've been wearing. Tell me if you have any of these. And thank you again for watching.